Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Name Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate Haribol, everybody step out of the singing chant. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda Haribol Nitai Gaur Haribol Haribol Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama 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 Madana Mohana Gopala Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Nitay Gaur, Haribol, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Haribol, Haribol, Nitay Gaur, Haribol. Haribol. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Haribol. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate. Okay? So, nung isang araw, diniscuss natin, anong pinag-usapan natin? Yung spiritual master. Tapos na yung wisdom, ignorance. Pag-usapan natin ngayon, paano tayo magkakaroon ng solid foundation sa buhay natin kung paano tayo magagabayan. Okay? Kasi sa buhay natin, bago kayo na punta rito, bago nyo nalaman yung kaalaman na to, ang dami nyong pinapakinggan sino-sino. Hindi ba totoo yan? Maraming kuro-kuro, maraming nagsasuggest, at ang nagiging mga nagtuturo sa inyo ay sinusunod nyo dahil kaibigan nyo, kinalakihan nyo, tatay nyo, nanay nyo, o kaya ay naririnig nyo sa YouTube, nakikita nyo, o kaya naririnig nyo sa radio, at yung environment, kung ano yung kinagisnan nyo paglaki nyo. Okay? Kasi makikita nyo, nag-identify kayo sa body, so nag-identify kayo sa lugar, nag-identify kayo sa pamilya nyo, sa clan, nag-identify kayo sa grupo. Di ba nyo, napapansin ba nyo yun? Na naging kanin yung buhay nyo? Okay. Kaya ang nangyari, nagkaroon tayo ng hindi one-pointed o kaya focus. Alam yung focus? Ibig sabihin ng focus. One-pointed. One direction. Isang direction. Para masunod natin kung ano yung kaaya-aya na kagustuhan ng Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krsna. Di ba? Naintindihan niyo yan? Okay? So, diniscuss natin last time na kung susunod tayo sa isang individual na tatanggapin natin siya, na gabay natin sa spiritual life natin. Gabay, alam niyo yung ibig sabihin ng gabay? Guide, okay? O kaya teacher, okay? Pero ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, hindi teacher about science, hindi teacher about yung process nito, kundi spiritual teacher. Okay? So, ang isang qualification ay dapat may spiritual master siya. Okay? Yun ang pinag-usapan natin. Dahil yun ang kagustuhan ng Supreme Person. Hindi pwedeng yung isang individual tatanggapin natin as spiritual master natin, pero siya mismo hindi na sinusunod yung kautusan ng poong may kapal. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, relasyon sa Supreme Person. So sabi ni Lord Krsna, anong sabi ni Lord Krsna? Instruction niya kay Arjuna, pinaka-importante. One must find a bona fide spiritual master. At babasahin ko sa Transcendental Knowledge 259, ito. Text 34. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Okay? Someone who is infallible, never falls down. Yun ang spiritual master. Because he's not different from God. Bakit? Kasi yung qualification niya, he is beyond material consideration. Wala siyang material consideration. Kagaya halimbawa, ano yung material consideration? Kagaya ng ginawa ng Transcendental Meditation, isang grupo ng mga nagpa-practice ng yoga. Pag nag-practice ka ng yoga, magbabayad ka. Mga $2,000, tuturuan ka nilang umupo, mag-lotus, palipitin yung kamay mo, at mag-isip ng positive thinking na okay lang lahat. At tinuturo nila, you're one with everything. In short, you're God. Okay? Lahat na nangyayari dyan, it's your lila or pastimes. Kaya pag may suffering, pastimes mo yan. Pag may kasayahan, pastimes mo yan. Because you're God. You're the one in control. Yun ang meditation nila. Magbabayad ka ngayon ng $2,000. Bakit? Kasi yung so-called spiritual teacher nila, kung di kayo magbabayad, paano siya mabubuhay? Anong kakainin niya? Paano siya magkakaroon na maging hawang buhay? Diba? Maka-travel around the world para magturo ng kalokohan. Ano yung kalokohan na tinuturo niya? Your God. Okay? Kung may nagtuturo sa inyo, your God, then, ibig niya sabihin, tinuturo niya, siya ang Diyos, di ba? So may qualification din. Ask him to show the universal form. Alam niyo yung universal form? Yung universal form ni Krishna, yun yung whole cosmic manifestation. Nandun yung demigods, nandun yung mga, lahat ng living entity. Okay? yun ang dapat nyong itanong, i-manifest niya yung quality at qualification ng God. Okay? So, pinag-usapan natin dito yung spiritual master. Okay? Sa teachings ni Lord Chaitanya, ano ang qualification ng spiritual master? Paano natin malalaman na yung person na to spiritual master? Okay? Number 1, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Okay? Blessed ba? Ibig sabihin nun, he is guided by God. Non-different from God. Ang pangalawa naman, yung third prayer ni Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master is feeling lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige. And he offers his respect to everybody. So the spiritual master is someone who feels lower than the straw in the street. Okay? But in spiritual life, someone who is feeling humble and lower than the straw in the street is the highest. Why? Why? Because he can take shelter of Krishna. If you're high, like these impersonalists, do they take shelter of Krishna? No, di ba? They think they're powerful. They use their so-called temporary intelligence and whatever knowledge that they have acquired, feeling better than all of us, and he's so arrogant. Because he's teaching you are God, and we can become God. And you ask him question, if I am you and you are me, why do you teach me? We are all God. Di ba? Kung Diyos ka, Diyos ako, ibig sabihin, yung isipan ko, isipan mo pareho. Why do you teach me if I am God? Okay? Saka ang isang sign ng person na who's really teaching impersonalism that we can become one with everything, isang sign, wala siyang disciple. Wala siyang disciple. Wala siyang estudyante. Alam niyo bakit? Kasi yung so-called guru na nagtuturo that you can become God, bakit ang dami sumusunod sa kanya? Because he's putting them in ignorance. Kung ma-realize nila, I'm God, I'm all-powerful pala, hindi na kita kailangan. Di ba? Naintindihan niyo yan? Kung nagtuturo yung isang person ng you are God, I am me, you are me, and I am you, we're all one, then yung person na yun, dapat walang disciple. Pero ba't maraming disciple? Maraming sumusunod. Maraming nagbibigay ng bayad sa kanya. Okay? Kasi he's putting all those individuals in ignorance. He's teaching ignorance and manipulating people. Kaya very important na sa buhay natin, ang tatanggapin lang natin na spiritual master is Lord Krishna and His pure loving servant. Kasi wala silang material consideration. Ibig sabihin nun, they're not dependent upon us. They don't need you. They don't need me. Their happiness is completely transcendental beyond all this material consideration. Okay? He's not dependent upon his disciple. And the spiritual master, he's not thinking, my student, my disciple. He's not thinking like that. He's always in the humble stage of consciousness wherein lahat ng sumusunod sa kanya, lahat ng disciple niya, even the Lord Krishna is telling us, for us, as a spiritual principle, as guidance, that we must offer respect to the spiritual master as not different from God. But the spiritual master, heart, and consciousness is that we are all disciples and students of his Guru Dev. Okay? So the spiritual master has no load, he is not in this consciousness of control and manipulation. Kaya, very, very careful tayo kung sino susundin natin. Kasi pag sinunod mo isang person, then what will happen? Pag mayroon kang, halimbawa, for example, dito sa mundo na to, halimbawa, si Govinda Dansi, okay? Somebody tries to make friends with you, di ba? For example, a young person, a young boy makes friends with you, okay? Sa una, you're very defensive. Nisip mo, anong gusto mo? Di ba? Tatanungin nyo, anong gusto ng tao na to? Okay? Hindi mo pa siya kilala. Hindi mo saan kaya galing itong tao na to? Hindi mo alam, galing sa preso yon. Di ba? Kaya maingat ka. Baka kriminal tong tao na to. Di ba? Damit tao nga, pero hindi mo alam ba? Saan kaya galing to? So, habang nagiging kausap mo siya, nakikipagkaibigan siya sa'yo, nakikipagkaibigan ka rin sa kanya, dahan-dahan kayo nagkakaroon ng friendship. No? Okay? Sa friendship ngayon, dahan-dahan nagiging trusting ka sa kanya. Siya rin, nire-reveal niya yung heart niya, yung mind niya sa'yo. Okay? So, in our system sa teaching ng Christianity, yung two become one. At the time that yung individual nagkaroon ng close relationship at they get married. Okay? Two but one. Okay? One in heart, one in mind. Yun ang mangyayari. Pero very dangerous na kung ang kakaibiganin mo, i-reveal mo yung heart mo, yung mind mo, at hindi yung person na to, excuse me, yung tao na to, may material consideration. Ano yung material consideration? Yung consciousness niya, contaminated pa rin ng lust. Contaminated pa rin ng false bodily identification. False ego. Contaminated ng material desire. So what will happen? Yung relationship niya sa'yo, he will become dependent upon you. So ano ang ibig sabihin ng dependency? Dependency means he sees you as someone, I'll be very blunt and direct, to use you for his happiness, for his fame. Di ba? Ang dami kong disciple. Ang dami nagsisilbi. Ang dami nagdo-donate. Di ba? So he begins to have a relationship wherein he becomes dependent upon those individuals whom he's supposedly to take care and protect. And because he's not God, and he's not infallible, and his consciousness is based upon, his intelligence is based upon material consideration, what will happen? He'll use you. And not only that, when you relate to him, you really bear your heart to him, there is no satisfaction. Because he's not God. So meaning, we have not followed the instruction of Lord Krishna that we should only accept someone who is his confidential loving servant. When you follow the confidential loving servant of God, then God is pleased. Kaya nga sinasabi dito, yung nagtuturo dapat naging disciple ng parampara or bona fide spiritual master. How can you teach about love for God when you yourself, you're not accepting a bona fide spiritual master and you're not following the instruction of Lord Krishna? So doon yung mag-check. Kung may nagtuturo that he's a spiritual master, then you ask this, look at this, you just don't follow. You just don't give your time and energy. You must check. Does he have a spiritual master? Okay? Number one, anong criteria para malaman mo na bona fide spiritual master? Definitely galing kay Krishna, parampara, descending. Intindihan niyo yun? Descending ba? Parang puno, may mangga sa taas. Pagbaba, mangga pa rin. Hindi bayabas. Okay? So, ang tinuturo ni Lord Krishna is about love for God. So, pagbaba nun, dapat ganun pa rin. So, yung parampara, unbroken chain yun. Ibig sabihin nun, dugtong-dugtong na kadena ba? Hindi na putol. Kung ano yung tinuturo ni Lord Krishna, yun din ang tinuturo ng nasa baba. Kaya lang, ang process dito, the more na mas bababa yung, pababa ng pababa yung chain, yung relationship kay Krishna becomes more closer. Okay? Like when we come in contact with our spiritual master, kaya nga we sing, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya. I worship Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Radha and Krishna. Okay? Nagpe-pray kayo, Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Namine Gorabise Namo Nama. Okay? I offer my respectful obeisances, my life, to my spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, who worship Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Radha and Krishna. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, kung ang sinusunod nyo is coming from parampara, you become the maidservant of that person who is the maidservant of Radha and Krishna. Okay? Intindihan nyo? So, hindi nyo kailangan umakyat kasi nandiyan na yung relationship eh. Pero hindi mangyayari yun kung yung sinusunod nyo na individual, hindi sinunod yung instruction ni Lord Krishna. Hindi niya sinunod yung instruction ni Lord Krishna at nagtuturo siya about love for God. How can he do that? How can you connect yourself with love for God when that person did not follow the teachings of Lord Krishna? So be very careful because there's a lot of people who are in this state of consciousness, either chanting or reading books Kaya, the advice is that we must only reveal our heart to God. Okay? Why? Because He will not put us in harm's way. He will always love us. He will not exploit us. And that is the pure loving servant of God. Because the pure loving servant of God is the representation of God's love, compassion upon us. At naghanap kayo ng friend, Krishna, the supreme person, is attractive because He's the most attractive because He has unconditional love for us. Okay? Sabi ni Lord Krishna sa Bhagavad Gita, even though one is the most sinful, pinaka-sinful ka, pinaka-demonyo, okay? But if you take this path and follow this path of devotional service, then you can cross over this ocean of material misery. Okay? Intindihan nyo? Kasi, it's akin to this Ang spiritual master, lahat tayo, nandito tayo sa dagat na, yung dagat na punong-puno ng danger. Okay? We're drowning. And He comes. He invites us, okay, ride in this boat. Okay? So, pag ginawa mo yon, then you're protected. Pero pag sinunod mo isang person na nalulunod din, bulag, nalulunod na, how can a drowning person save you? Okay. Kaya yung process ng devotional service na tinuturo sa atin ng spiritual master natin, it's not that you come here to Madana, you come in association with the devotees, then that's it. No, it's not that. The Parampara teaches us a sustainable protection. And what is that sustainable? Ano ibig sabihin ng sustainable, Haridas? Ano sustainable? Continuous. Walang putol. Unbroken chain. Continuous. Okay? Why? Because you're eternal. And your relationship with God is eternal. Ang problem lang, it has become covered. So when you understand yung teaching dito, then no matter where you are, what body you're in, what place you're in, if you have realized this transcendental truth, and you apply it. Ano i-apply nyo? The process of pure devotional service. In practice, and then you engage in that relationship, an eternal connection with God, then even though you leave this world, you live as a life of a devotee, as what Lord Krishna wants us. Sinasabi niya na, even though we are very sinful, if you take this path, then you can cross over this ocean. Why? Because you're under the hands of God. And you only do that to the representative of God, who is infallible. He never falls down. How can he fall down when he feels lower than the straw in the street? Ano ibig sabihin lower than the straw in the street? He's under the lotus feet of Krishna. Saan pa siya babaksak? Sa lotus feet ni Krishna. So that is the state na gusto ng spiritual master natin na to achieve for us. So we can surrender feeling lower than the straw in the street, that I can put my life in the hands of God. Intindihan nyo? Then you're taken care of. Because you won't fall down anymore. You have fallen already. You've been broken down. And you're under the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna's promise that He will always protect His devotee. And not only that, He will give you remembrance and forgetfulness. So if the living entity, tayo, may sincere desire tayo to do the will of God and follow the instruction of the spiritual master, especially the spiritual master in Bhagavad Gita, the glory of the spiritual master is Lord Krishna. Siya mismo nag-establish ng parampara at ng transcendental wisdom. Paano tayo mag-guide? Eternally. Intindihan niyo? Eternally. Tinanong ni Arjuna si Lord Krishna. Sabi ni Arjuna, how can I know that you're senior? How can I know that you taught the sun god, Bhibhasman, and he's senior to you? God is the oldest, He's the beginning. And Krishna tells him, sabi ni Krishna, many, many birds, you and I, we were together. All of them I can remember, but you cannot. Why? Because God is infallible. He never falls down. Yun ang definition ng God. Okay? Kaya kung may lalapit sa inyo, nagtuturo na you can become God, then that person is nonsense. How can God fall down? Okay? God is infallible. Hindi siya babaksak. He's full of knowledge. At bakit siya nagtuturo sa atin? Bakit siya nagtuturo? Ibig sabihin, wala tayong kaalaman. Then He teaches us we're God. Di ba nonsense yun? Kasi kung God ka, dapat alam mo lahat. So anong motive niya? Anong motive niya? He wants followers. Why does He want followers? Number one, He feels good, to control people. Lordship. Number two, dependency upon the followers. He wants fame. I'm a great devotee. I have a lot of followers. These are all nonsense. Nothing. It has no substance in your relationship with God. It will be the stumbling block. Kaya ko tinuturo sa inyo yun, kasi when you come to the point of having this wisdom, you feel good. You experience happiness. And there's a danger that you would want, because of material contamination, you want to have followers also. Okay? That is the reason in the beginning sa spiritual life nyo, kayo, lahat tayo, we are kanista adhikari, we're very cold to other people. Alam mo yung cold? To protect yourself. Di ba? Hindi kayo nakikipag-relate masi kanino-kanino kasi malay nyo, makontaminate kayo. Pero dahil nasanay naman tayo sa contamination, we model in the mouth, in mouth, kaya natural lang sa atin mag-nonsense. Okay? Intindihan nyo? Intindihan mo kay Haridas? So, doon tayo mag-ingat. Ang reason kaya tinuturuan tayo ni Lord Krishna to protect us para meron tayong sustainable relationship with Him in purity. And what is that purity? It is about completely dependence upon God. You can offer your heart, your mind to God only. Not to anyone. Kaya ang advice sa Nectar of Instruction, you only reveal your heart to the devotee of God. To the pure loving servant of God. Because He will not exploit you. He will not use you. And He relates to you in honesty. He relates to you. So, yun yung process. The spiritual master gives us instruction. Lord Krishna gives you instruction. Ang sabi niya, find a bona fide spiritual master. Okay? So, the time you follow that, then you have a relationship with Krishna, Lord Krishna, kasi you followed His heart's desire that you must follow His confidential loving servant. So, I follow Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa because he is the confidential loving servant of His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami, coming from Lord Krishna. Okay? And through his influence, the devotee, he influenced individuals to understand in clarity the truth. And not only that, to be able to serve God and experience transcendental wisdom, transcendental experience, that it motivates you, that it gives you strength, it protects you from illusion. How are you protected from illusion? When you chant, anong first effect ng chanting? You become purified. You're with wisdom. And then, you now take opportunity to nurture, to care. Para ka nag-alaga ng tanim, alagaan mo. Fragile ba? Alagaan mo kasi relationship mo yun kay Krishna. And that will protect you from illusion. Maya. Kasi Maya will always be there bombarding with all the desire in the mind. Okay? Kasi yung basic understanding naturo naman sa inyo. So ngayon, ang foundation ng spiritual life natin, kung nagme-make tayo ng progress, is that we are not attracted to this material world anymore. We see it as God's energy. We become seers of the truth. Okay? Yung vision ng spiritual master, he sees gold, he sees stool as the same. They're all matter. He sees a Brahmana, a spirit soul in a Brahmana's body. He sees a spirit soul in a dog's body, in an elephant's body. He sees Krishna everywhere. Okay? So kaya very important, maintindihan nyo yung turo about Aham Brahmasmi. That you are a different energy from matter, and then when you nurture your relationship with God by chanting the holy names, then you have clarity because you begin to see the truth. And not only that, you begin to appreciate your relationship with God. Okay? Because you will be here, you are regulated. Okay? Nandito kayo. But when you go out, Maya, even dito, nandito man din si Maya kasi material energy. But when you go out, You will be enticed by Maya because you've been servant of Maya for so long. Offer you. He'll gonna pull you, okay? But if you have this relationship with Krishna, then you see Maya as Krishna's devotee. Okay? Do you see everything in this world, matter or living or non-living, as inseparable from Lord Krishna, your friend? So dapat dumating tayo sa stage ng realization, Brahman realization. Ano yung Brahman? Dalawang Brahman realization. Number one, yung Brahman realization, Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not matter, transcendental ako. And it can easily be understood. Di ba? Diniscuss ko. Halimbawa, nandito kayo ngayon, umuwi kayo sa bahay. Pagdating nyo sa bahay, nakahaya na yung nanay nyo. Alam nyo, umalis na yung nanay nyo. Okay? Wala na yung nanay nyo, iniwan lang niya yung damit niya. Very simple. Pero bakit tayo nahihirapan? Because we have become conditioned. Alam mo, na-condition ka? To make it very simple, ganito. Hindi ba pag nasa CR kayo, para mas klaro ba? Pag matagal ka sa CR, lahat naghihintay sa'yo, natural lang na maamoy mo yung pupo mo. Kasi na-condition kang amuyin araw-araw yun eh. Natural lang sa'yo. Pero hindi papasok si Chaitanya Das doon na, oy, unsa na, ato na, singhuton. Unsa diha ang baho. Hindi ka gano'n yung Chaitanya Das yun. Kasi hindi siya na-condition sa baho na yun. Okay? Intindihan nyo? That's why yung living entity who have been conditioned by material nature, he identifies himself as the body. Na-condition ka. Kaya nga, every time na mag-move ka, it's all about this label. How will they accept me? How do I look? Nakintindihan nyo? Anong masasabihin nila sa akin? Nakikita ba nila kayo? Okay? The eyes is the window of the soul. Okay? So the living entity is inside this kingdom, this body. So pag na-realize yun nun, then you can understand that you have now this opportunity to make a choice, a decision, to do the will of Lord Krishna, to be pleasing, to enter that world of relationship. So spiritual life is all about relationship. And how can you have a relationship with someone who is not following the teachings of Lord Krishna? Naintindihan nyo? Brinda, naintindihan mo, Govinda Dasi? Naintindihan mo, Jagadisha Dasi? Paano ka makakaroon ng relationship with Krishna kung susundin mo isang tao hindi sumusunod sa utos ni Krishna? Ano utos ni Krishna? Okay? Find a bona fide spiritual master. Make friends with this confidential loving servant. At ano yung loving servant? He is a resident of the spiritual world. Coming down. Coming down. Meaning, we are invited to enter that world of Vaikuntha, to serve Krishna eternally in His pastimes and enjoy with Lord Krishna in loving relationship. Eh dito, enjoyer man tayo ng senses natin because we're servant of the senses. Okay? Nag-identify ka sa body. For example, ay, ulaw kayo kay dili ko tuli. Di ba? Hindi man ikaw ang body. Usaman, dako na ba kayo na na-trophy na tanggalon ang balat sa dulo ng pitit mo, tanggalin, may proud ka na? Okay? Tuli na ko. Di ba? Intindihan nyo? So, yun ang conditioning sa material world. Okay? Naintindihan mo, Govinda Dasi? So anyway, ang point ko rito, when you follow the spiritual master instruction, especially Lord Krishna's instruction, then your heart will be sheltered with His instruction. And what is that instruction? It is all about His happiness. It's all about kung anong gusto ni Lord Krishna. Yung kaligayahan ni Lord Krishna, naging kaligayahan mo na rin. Naintindihan niyo? Naintindihan niyo? So simple lang. Eh kung susundin niyo isang tao na hindi naman talaga representative ni Krishna, ibig sabihin nun, he may be chanting. He may have a lot of followers. Maraming nagsasabi, devotee yan. Di ba? Personality cult. Alam yung personality cult? Sabi ni naghungong, devotee yan, ni Krishna, nagchat-chat yan. Pag nagchat-chat niya, umiiyak talaga yan, lumuluha, may kisi-kisi na. Di ba? Advance ka na, mukanta na ka ng pagkanta niya, talaga mugkurog ka, kaya yan tingog, mugkurog yun. Di ba? Okay? Narinig nyo, devotee na. Anong basehan nyo? Okay? Anong basehan nyo? Yun, mahirap. Di ba? So if you're sincere, Krishna will guide you. The sincere seeker of truth will be guided. And if you follow parampara, then you're protected. Because Krishna will give you wisdom. He gives you understanding. Okay? Who gives you the vision? Who arranges it? Who controls everything, living or non-living situation? It's Krishna, the Supreme Person. That is the reason He comes to this world. Yun ang reason. To establish our long-lost relationship with Him. Is it clear? Clear sa inyo? So that's all. So yan yung una pa lang natin pinag-usapan dito. So to be protected, we must follow someone who is doing the will of God. So sabi ni Lord Krishna sa Bhagavad Gita, sabi niya, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. A spiritual master, hindi yung dagan magbula-bula ang baba lang, mabaliskad-baliskad ang Bible, magbasa patalikod, paabante. Hindi, anak. Okay? Kasi inquire ni mo, blah, 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 blah. Hindi yun. A spiritual master is someone who can change a person's heart. Through association of the spiritual master, he has the potency to change people's heart. From a materialist, lovers of mammon, hindi mammon, mammon, materialist, to be able to feel in himself that he's lost and he can take shelter in humbleness to follow the instruction, the desire of Lord Krishna. That is the potency of the spiritual master. Okay? Kaya pag si Lord Chaitanya is very potent, sino mayakap niya, he will experience transcendental longing for Krishna. Okay? Experience bliss. So the spiritual master has that potency because he's not different from God. He's infallible. You don't see the spiritual master as American. You don't see him as old man. No. Who gives you the vision? God. When you desire to serve God, you are humble enough and you follow the process that will purify us from all this material contamination given by parampara, then you are sheltered, you're protected, you're fixed. Why? You can immediately take shelter of Krishna because you know you're not all-powerful. And you know Krishna loves you unconditionally. He's your eternal friend. And that is the situation and the consciousness of the spiritual master. You don't do that to anybody. Diba? How many people were exploited by so-called spiritual master? Sinabi ko so-called spiritual master kasi hindi talaga spiritual master. Look at David Koresh. Ano nangyari kay David Koresh? Lahat ng followers niya nasunog, namatay. Okay? At anong tinuturo nila? Salvation. Anong medium nila? It's anger. Okay? Ano ang anger? Material consideration. Okay? What is anger all about? It's about lust. It's about frustration that you cannot enjoy, you cannot control. You're now miserable and angry. Is it clear sa inyo? You have any question? So the point here, that all of you, we are all demons, but we can be saints of tomorrow. Even now, if we made this effort to listen to parampara and follow the instruction of Lord Krishna, we become devotees of Lord Krishna. Because at the time, our heart's desire, our mind, our consciousness, even though we know we fall far short, alam mo na, hindi ka qualified, but you have this faith that He loves you eternally. He will never hurt you. So you only relate to that person who is the representative of God. Okay? Is it clear, Govinda Dasi? Kasi pwede kayong mabudul-budul. And not only that, you waste your human form of life. And that person cannot give you real happiness. Why? Because you're not taking shelter of God. Whom should we take shelter? The Supreme Controller. Who is the Supreme Controller? Lord Krishna. The all-attractive Supreme Person. How does Krishna controls us? If you have material consideration, anong control niya sa inyo? Takot kayo. But the control now is different when you have a bona fide spiritual master who teach you love for God. Okay? You are now controlled by His love. Meaning, you have devotion. And how will you relate to Krishna? It's about devotion, pag-ibig. Ano sabi ni Lord Krishna? If one offers me with love and devotion, a little fruit, a little flower, okay? A leaf, I will accept it. In devotion. So yun ang medium natin, devotion, pag-ibig. Kaya ang relationship natin sa Diyos, pag-ibig. Kaya yung buhay mo, pag-ibig. Hindi takot. Okay? Hindi mo kailangan mag-chant para ma-purify. Hindi kailangan din mag-chant ka para makakuha ka ng yaman. Wala kang ganun. Inisip mo lang, service has the end itself because your heart is sheltered in the holy names of God. You chant the holy names. Okay? Oh, yun. Di ba, pinag-usapan natin, you are the king in your kingdom. Okay? Maraming pinto. You understand that, Jagadisha Dasi? Govinda Dasi, naintindihan niya? Pero marami naman nakapasok ng mga kalaban sa utak niyo. Si Brenda, nandiyan man si Brenda, nakaintindi man yan. Marami nang pumasok sa utak niyo na gusto niyong alisin. Kasi alam niyo kalokohan, di ba? Naintindihan niyo to? Yung mind niyo nandyan. Will always kuri-kuriin mo sa mind. Kuri-kuriin mo. Ana na. So when you have established your relationship with the devotee of Krishna, the mind will be there. The desire will be there. Parang electric fan ba? Tinanggal mo na sa plug, umiikot pa rin. Wala ka na sa situation na managang ka, tukso, layuan mo ako, ipipikit ko yung mata ko. Hindi na ganun. You move one-pointedly. Para bang, alam niyo yung discussion natin, ano yung senses? Mga ahas na may pangil. Okay? The mind, parang cobra ba? May pangil. Pero kung pangag na, okay? Ang daming ahas, gipaa ka. Pero pangag naman, gitikong ka lang, di ba? Hindi importante sa imo. Di ba? Di ba? Ha? I-rob ka, spirit soul ka man. That spirit soul can never be killed. Okay? Yung body mo pwede. Kung nag-identify ka sa body, problema ang dako. Kay gakusong ka sa halas, gakusing ka ni Sandra, sa iyong mga pahumot, sa mga mata na anaong ka ba? Okay? Anaong ka, tapos bangga-banggaong ka ba? Di ba? Okay? Gakuson ka ba ni Maya? Murag halas ba? Ikaw naman, nag-identify sa body, gakuson ko. Paningon. Okay? I kiss you, imno na ko imong laway. Okay? Wa nag-toothbrush. Okay? Puro lang lipstick. So dito nyo makita. Bugo pala tatanan. Pero abi na to bright Bright mo? Yes. Because Krishna is giving you intelligence. But you must make the choice to apply the wisdom in your life. It begins with the holy names. The 9 process of devotional service. Hearing. Listening ba? Kung kaya ni mong makinig, makaintindi ka. Pero kung hearing lang, hindi ka nakikinig, ana lang na. Tong, dong. Diba? Ang halas na diya, gakusong ka. Identify ka man, sakit kayo. Di na ako diri, lisod diri sa Madana. Puro trabaho. Lisod kayo, sige lang ako kasabahan. Kaya kung sa'yo may tabo, dagang ka, bulag ka man. Ulog ka sa bangin, dagan dito makahalas ka, unong ka. Ha? Kita nyo? Abi mo, bright ka ba, pero bulag ka ba? Listen diri, sige lang, lugto, kaon, tulog, aral. Di ko gusto diri. Okay? Dagang ka. Asa ka mo dagan? Makadagang ka ba sa imong anino? Hindi, di ba? Mas dagang ka. Ang may naalang diya, covered ka sa may. Ang design nandyan, asa ka mo dagan? Murag nasa sa lugar ka lang ba? Alam, kita nyo yung tumatakbo, hindi mo usad. Paspas, dagang ka, 100 kilometers per hour. Nasa usa ka lugar ka lang gihapon. Ano man di ko mo abante? Bubo ka man, kaya di ka mo abante. Nag-identify ka man sa body. Nag-identify ka sa senses. Kaya mas unsay dagan mo, di ka makaikyas. At wani mo giatiman ang imong kaharian. Giabrihan imong portahan tanan. musunod si Cassandra, si Sandra, musunod mga bayod dia, matabunan ka ba? Dagang kayo halas, baho pag yun mga halas. Pero gigakus ka, abi ni mo, Lord ka ba? Oh, I'm the Lord. Mga halas na sa palibot ni mo tanan ba? Gigakus ka. Actually, gipalipit ka na ba? Anak ka na lang, Kaya akala mo, yung spiritual life, listen man ang spiritual life, puro parusa, pagdudusa. Okay? Uwi na lang ako. Parang Boy Scout ba? Listen man ang camping din training, listen kayo. So, okay? Sige lang, listen kayo din may pagkaon. Pukaw, buntag ligo, di ko ba gusto maligo? Alam niyo, pag natulog kayo, lumalabas at yung mga dumi sa katawan niyo eh. Kaya pag hindi kayo naliligo, nandyan lahat yung bakterya na yan, okay? Hindi kayo nagtututbrush, lahat ng kagaw. Pagtagal, pangag na mo. Okay? Hindi mo maghilamos, hindi kayo maligo, puro muta na lang yung mata na. Bulag ka na spiritually, bulag ka pa materially, hindi ka na makakita. Okay, Haribal Namaste. Let's continue this program next time, okay? At least you have this wisdom, you can protect yourself, okay? Haribol. Let's chant. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namaste, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namaste, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Satya Gauranta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Satya Gauranta Vrinda. Madana Mohana, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, 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 Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol. Everybody sing loud. Jai Gurudev, Jai Lord Chaitanya, Jai Lord Nityananda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Madana Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prasayate